Today, we are going to make some grass. No, I'm not in Colorado, so it's not going to be that kind of grass. It's our techniques that are so simple and sensible, your mowers have practically built themselves. Hello folks, it's Mad Dog Merv. Today we are going to look at a project that I've been wanting to do for years and just been busy with other things, haven't gotten around to it, but this year we're going to get this one done for Halloween. It's called the Bog Monster, and I'll show you all that here in a minute, but the kit we're going to use is this Black Label by Dragon. This is the 3-in-1 Smart Kit of the T1E1 heavy tank, but you can also build the M6 and the M6A2E1 out of this. It actually comes with 2-hole hulls, bunch of extra parts, and it comes with a bonus tank crew. I did the review on this probably a couple years ago, so I'll try to put a link if you want to see the review on the kit itself. It's, you know, fairly expensive kit. When I bought it, it was 70 bucks. Don't know what it will run you these days, but it's a really cool kit of an American tank that really never made it to combat. And you've got really 3 different versions of it that you can build. So we are going to go ahead and make this into one of the World of Tanks, you're welcome, called the Bog Monster. So stick with Mad Dog Merv, and we're going to do a Bog Monster.
So here is my M6A2E1 in action in the game World of Tanks. You can see I've got camo on it. I really like playing with this. It's got some very heavy frontal armor, and it's hard to pierce there, but the sides, not so much. But I do enjoy playing with this particular tank. So when we get into the box, we've got a couple of different. There's a cast hull and a welded hull in the kit. We're going to need the cast hull. We're going to need to remove this area back here for the T1E1. And you can see, gone ahead and described it, cut it out, put the correct piece back in. There's part here for a gas cap that needed to be taken off. And we're going to go ahead and put texture on it. In other videos, I've shared how I use Mr. Surfacer 1000, and I make the texture with that. So I did the same thing here for the cast texture. Now, this horizontal volute suspension system, this early model of it is, I mean, it's well modeled, but man, is it a pain. So going together, here we've got it put on. I went ahead and sprayed all of this area with olive drab first, knowing that this would be a pain having to come back and try and do anything with it, but at least the wheels do move.
So let's show you where this is such a pain in the neck. Number one, these don't fit exceptionally well. And yeah, you can see I'm going to have some adjusting there. Number two, let's where these glue together right here, okay? That's a pain in the neck because you're trying to, if you do it the way the instructions show you, and put these wheels on out here, and put, you know, this on here on the hull, and you put it together, you got to line this up, and then you have to line up every one of those. Man, those look terrible as far as I'm concerned. Then you have to line that up. You have to line that up. Oh, let's go to the top here. And now you've got to line these up and get them in their little... I really can't see it too well. But where they go. And one of them popped out on me as I was doing this whole process. So I'm going to have to go back and put it in. As well as lining up these blocks here. And as you can see, that didn't go all that well either. So, talk about a pain in the butt. The way this is engineered, it's a good thing I've got stuff here I can drink, because I'm really seriously thinking about cracking open a bottle on this because it's just, oh, what a pain in the neck. So I'm going to try something different. On this one, I'm going to try and put the bogies on here first, and then just try to line up the cover plate. So we'll see. Let's see how that goes.
And here you can see we are able to get everything to line up. We'll have to come back and paint this, but we're going to take some Tamiya steel and go ahead and do the rollers on it. And so far looking pretty good. I'm still not happy with how this turned out. What a pain, but anyway. So the time has come to paint the tracks for this M6. And these are those dragon styrene tracks that everybody dreads, including myself. My trouble is mostly getting paint to stick to them. Now I'm going to use something here that's a lot of people have said is taboo. And I'm going to use some Rust-Oleum. Okay, and some people have said that this does eat the tracks. I haven't had that problem. As you can see, I've already given them one coat, and there's no problem with it eating the tracks at all. But there is a little bit of trouble with it adhering properly to the tracks. I hit it with a second coat, let it dry, gave it a wash with black, and then I went ahead and got out my Tamiya steel and went over it lightly, and I think it turned out okay. So we're going to move on to the armor portion. Now this was never installed on the actual tank, but in the game World of Tanks they do have it. It's a big old piece of armor plate just welded to the front here to give it that kind of like the jumbo up armored version of the Sherman. And you can see I've made these weld seams out of some thin beads of milliput, and then just taken my X-Acto knife and made some little indentations, make it look like it was welded with a big old gnarly seam. So we're going to go ahead and hit this with our olive drab, not do much in the way of weathering, give it a wash and a little bit of dry brush, and it'll be finished. Remember, the turret's something that we built earlier this year, and go ahead and put it on. It fits fine. Did just direct glued because I'm not going to be moving this thing around. And here you go. It makes a pretty good replica of the Mutant 6. For the gun travel lock, I really wanted to find one in one of my T29, T30 kits, but I wasn't going to dig for it, so I just went ahead and scratch built it. So didn't take long, maybe 30 minutes. And here you go. Here's the final reveal after I've done a quick wash on it and a little bit of dry brushing, get some of those highlights to pop out. I really do like the way this turned out. You can see the transmission cover for the T1E1. Again, not heavily weathered because we're going to do something else with this tank here in a moment. So during the Halloween season, World of Tanks offers up these monster tanks, something that they've done over the years. And here's several of them. I've actually built 4 of them: the Hole and Hound, the one based off the big Japanese tank, the Gory Niche. Anyway, I wanted to build the Bog Monster. It's just one that has been on my to-do list, and now we have the capabilities. You kind of see it here, the lighter green color with the foliage all over it, and let's show you how I go ahead and do that. So we're going to start by using some white glue and this light green by AK. Going to kind of mix it together, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an old brush and just kind of splatter it on the side of the tank. I'm going to start with the turret and do the top, the sides, all that kind of stuff. Now here, what I'm using is some flocking that I made, and I made these videos years ago, so check them out on how to make flocking, but it's basically sawdust and some color. And then what I did is I just sprinkled that into the paint. You can see there's just some paint areas, and then there's some of this flocking that's kind of sticking out, giving it that fresh out of the bog effect. Now I'm going to take some twine that I've got here. This is very fine, but I've also got some bigger pieces of twine, and I'm going to take some clump foliage that I made quite some time ago. Again, I put out a video on that, and I'll try to put a link to it in the description. But I'm taking some of the finer parts of that clump foliage along with the flocking. I'm running these threads through the white glue and then just through this stuff to make these vines, simulate these vines. I'm going to make several of these. I'm going to start putting them all over the tank. And you can see here is one of the thicker pieces of twine with the chunks of clump foliage all over it. And here's some more pieces here with some larger chunks. Now I'm going to start placing these just kind of randomly along the top of the tank. I put some along the barrel because in looking at the pictures of the tank in the game, you see it hanging down off the barrel and you see it hanging down from the sides. You see some of these bushy areas. Yes, I could add more. There's really no rhyme or reason. You could add a bunch more, you could add a little less. I liked how this turned out. Okay, it's got kind of that mossy, greenish, gooky look to it. As far as the eyes go that are on the mantlet, I just painted those red with some little yellow stripes in them, and then like a black cat's eye right down through the middle as it is in the game. So hope you folks enjoyed this and like how it turned out. I love how it turned out. Here's a few more pictures of it, and we will see you again soon. Thanks for joining us today.